Hi there and welcome. I'm Marty Smith and my special guest, Chris Golden. Hi there. How are you?
Hey Marty, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. It's good to see you. You're looking great, buddy.
Always good to see you too. It's like it's been a minute since we got a chance to visit, so this is cool.
I know. We're so busy. I think I saw you at one of the TV tapings and you had to run. You're going off to Montana, I believe.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And you've got
So
so much
good.
happening.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about Sunday morning country here in a bit because you're going to be there. That's a big event coming in June, and we want to
Right.
share with you guys all that information. But before we get there, let's talk about Chris Golden. What is going on with you? You're busy.
Well, this is it. This is my office, man. This is my little house of music, and this is where a lot of it gets made right here in this room. Far as what I'm doing, I'm still doing what the Lord called me to do as far as going out and playing and singing and sharing my story and gospel songs wherever there's an invitation, wherever there's an open door, that's where I try to go. And I heard our good friend Greg McDougall say every invitation is an answer to a prayer, and that holds true for me too. You know,
Awesome.
daily for windows and doors to open. So every opportunity that comes along, I say yes,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and hope that it's something that I can go be a blessing to somebody and sharing my gifts of music. And I also, in the cracks, we've been doing this side hustle with my dad and my family, my brother, my two kids, two of my three kids, and was William Lee Golden and the Golden. So
Oh my
just
goodness.
kind of double dipping a little bit, Marty.
Well, let me ask you this. It just to me, I think it would be awesome to not only be on stage with my dad, but with my kids. You got three generations of Goldens here that are singing together. That has got to be an incredible feeling.
It is. It really, really is. It's a special thing, and we all know that it's very special. I mean, we feel it every time we get together, and just like it takes us a day or so to come down from it. It's a really a unique thing that when we all get to go out there and play and sing and support each other and have fun doing it, and it's something that a lot of people know my dad, but what a lot of people may not know is it was actually he got his start on his grandfather's show. So to see
Really?
my kids getting their start, well, they didn't get their start with my grandpa with their grandpa, my dad.
Uh-huh.
We're getting to play with him now. But my dad, when he was a little boy, got his start on Granddaddy Golden's radio show. My Granddaddy Golden, great grandfather, he was a holiness preacher, and he played the fiddle, and he had a radio show called the Old Country Church on WEBJ in Bruton, Alabama, and they used to tape it on Saturday nights. And my Aunt Lynette and my dad would go over there on Saturday nights and play and sing the latest song that they had learned off of the Grand Ole Opry. And my dad, he said that after he got inducted to the Grand Ole Opry, a lot of people in the early days knew him as a gospel singer. He said, but what it really struck him was all of the people that were in the Country Music Hall of Fame that he learned gospel songs from. They would learn the Kitty Wells Mansion over the Hilltop, and Hank
Oh
Williams, I
my.
Saw the Light, and all these other great gospel songs from the Lubin Brothers and other acts. Because the opera used to have kind of a about midnight, when it turned midnight, they'd turn it over to gospel music there, and they played a lot of gospel music on the Opry back in the
Oh
day.
my
And that's where
goodness.
my dad would learn some of his first gospel songs. He really didn't get into quartet singing till he got into high school and this and that. But anyway, back to that three generation thing, it kind of goes back even further than our father to my great grandfather. My dad's mother was a poet, and me and my brothers kind of got a double dose of it because we had it on my mother's side too. Her
Uh-huh.
father, little fiddle playing Cajun from Louisiana, and all of her brothers and sisters. She was one of eight brothers and sisters, and they all played and sang. So every family to get together we ever had always wound up around the piano with the guitars coming out, and every Sunday, every meal we would get together with our family, every holiday we'd always wind up singing and playing music before it was over with. And then my kids, when they come up, they started calling it Fam Jam. They'd say, well, when are we going to have another Fam Jam? So it's kind of like we're still doing that, but we're getting to do it on stage now. So we're
I
having.
love it. Well, that's pretty cool because my family get-togethers. We're playing Uno, the card game. So none of us can sing. I'm lucky if I can play the radio, to be honest. But
It was really special. We were down in Montgomery, Alabama at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center here just a
uh-huh.
couple months ago. And my dad's sister, who was 88 years old, got up and played the piano with us on a
Oh
couple of
man.
songs and just really shelled the corn on it. I mean, she can still play so good. She's like a little ever ready rabbit. So that kind of brought my dad and his sister back together to where it sort of all originated for them. And that was a special thing. And we're just having fun, man. So but we're
Wow.
all still doing our own thing. Dad's still with the Oak Ridge Boys. My brother's still writing hit songs. My daughter Elizabeth is still works down at the parks around Orlando. She's a professional princess, and she's also just signed up to do play Minnie Pearl in a play down there for about a month.
Oh,
So,
good
her
for
and her
her.
husband are actors and singers and dancers, and
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
they do a lot of Broadway type stuff down there.
Oh
And
my.
my son Elijah's in Rhode Island, going to college at Brown University. My other daughter's in Chicago. She's living up there doing art and working up there, and just got out of school herself.
Wow.
So they're all scattered, but we all get together and go jump on the bus and go somewhere and play and sing. So we're having a good time, man.
No doubt, man. Got to be a proud dad with all that your kids are doing, and that's exciting, man.
When you were asking what else I do a lot of stuff in this room right here, man. I've been blessed to, produce a few acts, and I do it right here at my home. I got a quiet place, and
Uh-huh.
these rooms are all set up to record in, and I got a patient wife because there's cords running all over the place all the time.
Yeah, I know that feeling. My wife is very patient with what I do. Being a
Yeah.
radio geek, I've got all this electronics around the studio, and she's like, just do your thing.
Well, in front of me is my whole little workstation here. It's a
Uh-huh.
mess. I'd show it to you, but I've been, blessed to produce Greg McDougall, Del Nora, the Paul family,
Mm-hmm.
Katie Estes, Morris Mott. He had a band called Faith Country. Uh,
Uh-huh.
the Murphys and several other acts out there, Michael Knight and a bunch of other acts that are out there in the same genre we're doing. I produced them right here and had a lot of success doing it
That's some
as a
great talent.
producer. So I love to play music and share those gifts. And so I do other projects for other people right here at my home.
Man, that's some incredible gifts. So, not only the producing, but you're on the road quite a bit too. So you don't just stay home. You're busy.
Well, I've been blessed, man. I really have. So that's all I've ever really done. And looking back on last year, it was probably the busiest solo year that I'd ever had.
Yeah.
But then, you get looking at the schedule. My wife reminds me, she said, yeah, you were at the first of the year, every year you say, man, I don't know what I'm going to do this year because I don't hardly have anything in the books. And then it just starts rolling in. So I'm
Fills up pretty fast.
thankful for that. So that being said, I still have open dates. There's 365 days a year, and I kind of get that from my grandfather, that farmer mentality of we have all year to plant the seeds and raise the crops and harvest it and get it ready to go the next time. So I have a lot of days on my calendar, and if anybody's listening and they'd like for me to come to sing and play for them at their church, homecoming, special event, concert, whatever, I'm easy to find, Marty. They can find me at 61. My phone number's on my website at chrisgolden.net. So
Well, that's
uh,
easy enough. They can get you and get set up. Let's fill up those dates. We got to fill up those dates for you.
you come to see me up at a little place in Kentucky there, man.
I
So
did. That was so much fun. I got to meet your wife. She's so sweet, and got to watch you, and you got to minister at the church. And what's really cool about it, a lot of people think, well, gospel music. I mean, it almost sounds kind of boring in church. No, it's far from that. I mean, you put on an incredible show that not only entertains but evangelizes as well. It was great. I enjoyed it.
well, that's important to me. I mean, it's important for me that they get the message, but I always back to that farmer mentality. I always felt like music was the plow. You know, music can till a hard heart where words, preacher's words may not be able to. I try to sing 3-minute sermons, you know, so I don't necessarily preach a sermon, but I don't preach at all, hopefully, because I'm not very good at that. But I know the power of a song that can minister to somebody.
Yeah.
And so I don't just do one little sermon. I try to sing about 15 sermons for them before it's over and done, you know.
Well, yeah, and the power of music, that people when they hear that song, it just sticks into their head, and they hum it or sing it and they get their favorite song. They want to buy that CD or watch it on YouTube. When did you know that you were going to go solo? I mean, you had so much going on over the years and you were busy. All the stuff that you've done has really led you to this point to where you're out on the road and you're singing and you can minister and entertain. When did you know that going solo was what you needed to do?
Marty, it was I was solo when when I was in high school. I joined up with this gospel group playing the piano.
Uh-huh.
Remember this man coming to see me and my cousin, and I was not a singer at the time. I didn't sing very much. I sang at home, but I was too embarrassed to sing in front of anybody. But I was confident in my playing. But I got a job playing piano with a little gospel group, and I remember that man telling me, he said, "Son, if you're in it for the money, get out." And I have thought about that so many times, Marty, in my life, how he was right, because as a true, what I feel like, I am an artist, and I also feel the call of music. So I know it's something that I would do for free. If if I didn't make a living at it, I'd have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, just because it's who I am. Music is what I am.
Hmm.
It's like water and air for me. I gotta have it and I gotta make it, and gotta be part of it. So and out of high school, I played with a couple of different bands, but I actually went solo when I was about 19 years old. I was singing on Hee Haw. I was did my first solo performance out front of people, other than little stuff I did around high school combos and stuff like that. High school programs and whatnot. But it was on a national show called Hee Haw, doing a song I wrote. That was my first solo thing. I always continued to make solo records, but my brother and I actually had signed a deal with CBS Records,
Oh,
Columbia Records, as a solo act. But they told me, they said, "Man, we got about a dozen guys on the label right now. Would you ever think about doing a group?" And I said, "Well, man, so many groups have members that come and go all the time that I think I would do it with my brother, because family's forever." So me and my brother teamed up and we had a duo. We kept out for about 9 years on the road making records. We also cut an album for Capitol Records, did a bunch of television and videos and stuff back in the day, and toured constantly. We had a
hmm.
band together for 9 years, and that's hard to do without hit records. But
Yeah.
I would actually had I started having babies instead of hits, so I took a sideman job with Oak Ridge Boys, and
Hmm.
I stayed there for about 17 years till my kids were gone. The whole time I was there, I never quit making solo albums. I had, several country music solo albums that I had recorded. I always had to be working on some new music for myself. I knew that what I was doing with them was a job, but when I sang, it felt more like a career. And so it was kind of a spiritual awakening I'd had. And I think it's been kind of documented about my angel story, man. But it sort of changed my trajectory when I had what I feel to be an angel come up to me in Cerritos, California, and said, "Man, you need to start playing and singing for the one that gave you the gift." So I did. And I went home and I had made all these other country music albums. I'd make an album, I'd go pitch it around Nashville, try to get a deal. Make another album, go pitch it around Nashville. See, I always used to say playing drums helped support my singing habit. I, I kept sticking all my extra money of the basically my children's college funds back into music and trying to record albums and get it going as a solo act. But it never really did happen for me until I went gospel, and all my efforts started being blessed, and it let me know I was in it for the right reasons, and that I was being blessed because of the changes that I had made, not in the music that I made, but in the message I was singing about. A lot of
Yeah.
it's the same music. And we did a lot of positive stuff. We also did some fun time stuff too. We tried to stay away from drinking and cheating songs and that kind of thing, but singing songs about love and fun things. But when I started singing more about the Lord and the gospel and second chances and what I like to call heart music. It's heart music, man. It's something that I
Yeah.
wanted to do. I wanted to make music that would touch somebody and make a difference. That's all I'm trying to do, man, is try to make a difference with the gifts that I've been given. And so that's kind of when it started for me about 10 years ago.
Wow. Well, you're definitely making a difference. You've become a force in Christian country music and gospel music and sharing the word. And, you know, when I saw you in concert, the people love you because it's not just you on stage and them over here. You blend it together and you bridge the gap of the entertainment and getting to know Jesus Christ. And so when somebody watches you and they hear you, they know it comes from the heart. It's just one of those of, man, when Chris sang that song, it was amazing, but he sang it right to me. And so you have this incredible gift that you really know how to connect with your audience. That's amazing.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I know where it comes from, but I I feel closest to God when I'm singing about it, songs
Yeah.
about Him and all that, and I'm glad that it translates that way. When you say that about the people, man, I remember I have been blessed to be around a lot of through my dad's associations to be around, and they also had a lot of struggling years too. But I remember Minnie Pearl. I was getting ready to be on Nashville Now. I don't know if I'd had too much coffee or what, but I was pretty nervous that night. We're getting ready, right before they're going to say, 4 million people are going to be watching tonight. It's like, what?
Uh,
So I started getting kind of nervous. And Minnie Pearl, she told me the same thing that I'd heard her tell a lot of that I heard later. They said, yeah, that was one of her sayings, but she told it straight to me. She said, honey, you just go out there and you love them and they'll love you right back. She said, but you got to love them first. And I do love them, man. I love people, and I like interacting with them, and I like loving on them a little
yeah.
bit,
Well,
And
it
but
shows.
a lot of people get torn down every other way. So for that 75 minutes, I hope I give them a good dose of love and light and
Yeah.
hope. And
So
so
true.
trying to do.
Well, and yeah, even though it's a 75-minute performance, it goes longer than that because you stay afterwards and you meet with everybody, you take pictures, you spend time with them, and you know, you're right. You let them know they are important, and that's why you're there, is to share the message and to get the gospel out. You probably don't know, and you probably won't know until you get called home to see the impact that your music has made, or even your actions at your shows, how you've touched somebody's life just by one, being available, two, giving them the love that they need, and being transparent. That makes a world of difference.
Well, good Lord knows I'm trying. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Marty.
You
I'm
bet.
trying.
Well, let's go back a bit. You
I
know, the
fall short sometimes, but the good Lord knows I'm trying.
Well, I'm so glad he's patient with us. Let's step back a minute. The advice you got about gospel music when you said don't be in it for the money, I can relate because, you know, being in radio, if I had all the money that I spent on my internet radio station, I could buy a house and pay cash. We just
I'm
put so much into it.
I'm telling you, the stuff that I have, I am so with you, man. It's like, I'm going to stay in this business until it takes every nickel I got.
Well, it's probably already
You
done
know
that a
what,
few
man?
times.
There's one of those guys that was in the band, that gospel band I played in when I was 15 years old. He was a little older than I am, but he told me this recently. I saw him he was at a church in my hometown. He plays in the worship band there now, but actually it's the orchestra, excuse me.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I was playing and singing there, and he come up to me and he was telling me how he had seen me do the whole full circle thing, going out and coming back to gospel. I started in gospel music when I was young. I took the long way around and kind of come back to it. But he told me, he said, man, I can remember when you were 15 and you were playing with that group. He said, when you left the group, you told me, he was saying that I had told him, one of these days you're going to have to buy a ticket to see me. And man, I just kind of hung my head in shame when he said, well, I said that. And he said, you did. And I said, I remember telling one of my teachers that one time. I said, but when you're 15, you're so green, man. I said, if I only knew then how many times in my life I would sing for free, and even pay to go sing sometimes. If I'd have only known that then. But
Oh my goodness.
what a difference between 15 years old and where I am now, where the attitude has changed.
Well, 2 or 3 years can make a difference. What are you now, 19? So yeah,
Oh, something like that.
well, you got a busy schedule coming up. You're going to be at the Sunday Morning Country at the Grand Ole Opry House on June 9th. But your dad's going to be with you. Are your kids going to be with you as well on that day?
I think one of them will, and
Uh-huh.
possibly the other one. I know that Elizabeth is I know that I'm singing a song, and
Uh-huh.
also the Goldens are singing a song on
Okay.
that day. So we're both going to be on that show, and I'm pretty sure that my daughter Elizabeth will be joining me and or
Well,
joining the band.
yeah.
Not so sure about my son.
Mhm.
He made his television debut on Huckabee here last month. I mean, just
Uh-huh.
sang the paint off of it. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but
I'll have to go back and watch that one.
all three generations on there, man. My
Oh
son's a
man.
great singer. So is my daughter. She made her Opry debut last year, and Elijah made his Huckabee debut this year. And man,
Oh
he
wow.
really did a good job. But anyway, man, I don't know which song we're going to be doing yet. So that kind of depends on if Elijah's going to be singing with us or not. But maybe he'll be hanging out with us either way.
Well, that'll be a treat for those of you planning on going or haven't decided yet. Let me tell you this, you'll get to see three generations of the Goldens together there at the Opry House, sing together. And
My, my
that'll be a
brother,
treat.
yeah, my brother Rusty will be with us. And man, I don't know if a lot of people know this about Rusty, but Rusty, as a songwriter, he had his first gold record when he was 21 as a songwriter.
Wow.
He had several songs cut through with country music acts. He also, when he was 13 years old, he played with the Rambos, the singing Rambos.
Oh, you're kidding.
He was just a kid, man,
Oh
and the
my
Rambos
goodness.
were top back then. So he
Wow.
played with Dottie Rambo at 17. He was playing with Larry Gatlin on the road and in the studio. And so if you look at Larry Gatlin's first album, it says William Lee Golden Jr. on piano. So
Ah,
but
okay.
Rusty is a songwriter. He's had two Song of the Years in gospel music with groups Karen Peck and New River, and also had one with the Booth Brothers. One
Okay.
was traditional Song of the Year, and one of them was called Contemporary Song of the Year. He's had at least a dozen number ones in the singing news world, or that version of gospel. And he writes a lot of the songs that I sing too. So
Wow. That is
anyway,
great.
Rusty will be with me at Sunday Morning Country, and he'll be playing with the Goldens too. So
Okay.
yeah, I just wanted to shout out for my brother Rusty.
Well, I can't wait to meet him. I'll be there on that Sunday morning and be excited to see you there and meet your brother. And if I don't meet your dad before, then get to meet him and your daughter and just see everybody. It's always a fun time there because it's like family getting together and gospel songs and we a chance to worship and praise God and hopefully during that day we were able to minister and bring people to Jesus as they hear the music, but not only hear the music, but they get to see you guys and see that your faith is real. It's not just a show. It's real. They're going to get to see that firsthand.
Well, whenever during that pandemic, when we all got sent home and shut down, basically, and it was during that my mama got really sick, and it wasn't from COVID that she passed, but she had the pancreatic thing,
Mm,
and
yeah.
during that time, man, the week after we had buried my mother, my dad called all us boys over there, and he said, "Man, let's get around the piano and sing some, because we're going to all lose our chops." And he said, music, my dad had always preached that music had a healing power. He said, music has the power to heal broken hearts. It's back to that plow again. It can
Yeah.
till the ground of a hard heart, but it can also mend a broken one.
Mm.
So he gathered us around there. We started playing and singing around the piano. And then he said, "Man, we ought to go. This sounds great. We ought to go into the recording studio and record some of this stuff." And the first 13 songs that we recorded were gospel songs. And most of them, some of them I knew. And I've been in gospel all my life, but he was going like way back with some of these really older gospel songs, that he grew up singing when he was a little boy on Granddaddy Golden's radio show. So the first 13 songs we cut, I had to actually learn about half of them, because I didn't know them. I didn't know them. They were older gospel songs. And so hopefully we'll get to do at least one of those on Sunday Morning Country.
Oh, it'd be so much
Tell you
fun.
what we all grew up doing, Yeah.
Well, it's coming up June the 9th at the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, Tennessee. Sunday Morning Country. Brenda Lee is the host, and she'll be there throughout the day as well. And you get to see a lot of great country stars there, gospel songs as well, and you get to worship with them as well. So the
Well,
website there,
I heard John McEwen from the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's going to be there.
yes, going to be there,
Uh,
and Larry Gatlin,
the
and
Isaacs.
yes, John Barry. So it is a powerhouse group of people on that Sunday morning.
I mean,
So,
it is, and we're honored to be part of it.
well, we're glad to see you there. Guys, check it out. Music City Christian Fellowship .org. That's the website, musiccitychristianfellowship.org. You can get your tickets there. You can see the banner for Sunday Morning Country. And then for you, your website, chrisgolden.net, where they can find out where you are. And if you're looking to book somebody for a Sunday morning service, or even a Friday or Saturday night, you know who to get in touch with. That's right. Do that again. That's pretty good. Well, bless you, brother. I'm so glad to see what's happening in your life and how God's moving, and it's exciting. And just glad to call you my brother, man. I just really am. Thank you.
Well, Marty, we first met over in Missouri, I think,
Yeah.
didn't we? Is that where we first met?
I think so. Quite a while ago. It's been a few years. And, yeah, we bump into each other every so often. But now I'm close to Nashville. Next time I come down, I'll just call you and take you out to lunch.
Well, it's going to be on me. This is my town, man.
Oh.
I know where all the good ice cream is. You come on.
Okay, man. Let's do it. I look forward to that. Now you got my attention. All right, guys, check out the website, chrisgolden.net. And then for the tickets for Sunday Morning Country, June the 9th at the Grand Ole Opry House, musiccitychristianfellowship.org. Chris, bless you. Thank you so much.
You can also get tickets for that at opry.com.
Oh, perfect. Yep.
Yeah, so you can just go to opry.com, and it has the link right there to send you to get the tickets for the Sunday Morning Country. And it's, the great thing about that, I know we got to go here, but man, it's the great thing about it. It's the only place that gospel music is represented during the CMA Festival.
Yeah.
There's country music fans from all over the world that converge on Nashville, thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
There's opportunities to see big concerts every night on at the stadium, and also up and down the streets of Broadway, and at the Music City Convention Center. But the only gospel music represented is going to be at the Opry House that Sunday afternoon. I think it starts at 4:30 that afternoon.
3:30. Yeah.
3:30. So 3:30.
3:30.
There's so many great acts. We're going to be there for a little while. So it starts at 3:30. The only gospel music represented there in Nashville for the Country Music Festival, CMA Festival. So it's a great opportunity to show your faith and come support it.
It'll be a lot of fun. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Chris, thank you. It's so good to see you again, man. Thank
You
you.
too, Marty. Come see me, man.
I will. I will. God bless you, brother. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget, get your tickets over there at musiccitychristianfellowship.org or opry.com. And if you're looking to book Chris Golden, you can do that, chrisgolden.net. And we'll see you guys at the Sunday Morning Country at the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, Tennessee on June the 9th.